So your workbook for today, the link has been dropped already. So it's in the chat. iPhone, will you put yourself on mute, please? Okay, so you should have the link and you're good. Thank you for joining us again after your busy, full lives, your full day. You chose to spend this time of it with us, with me, and I am grateful for that. So today we have day 2. We have something extra that we didn't have yesterday. And then I have a share for you all that will come afterwards. So as everyone is logging on, before we get to a review of yesterday or any homework, just chime in, unmute, or either put it on in the chat, just how you are today. If you have to tell the truth and what your body agree with you, just how are you? Doesn't have to be anything lengthy, because as we're waiting to get started, but just feel free to be able to say I'm up, down, or all around. Now, however you would like to term it. Yesterday we used numbers. Today we can use, you can just use words. Maybe good, bad, or indifferent. Kind of so-so in the middle if you're indifferent. Good, I'm good today, or not so much. How do you stand? Yes, Christina.
Oh, better than yesterday.
Whoop, whoop. Good for you. That works. How about you? iPhone, go ahead and tell us the name you'd like us to refer to you by. Do you hear? Are you able to hear me? I know you're on your phone. What name would you like us to refer to you by? Because we don't have. Okay. You thinking, or you getting ready to unmute? How you doing it? Well, I'll say I'm good too. Today. Oh yeah, there you go. What would you like us to call you?
This is Malik.
I know, but I just want to know what you want the group to. Okay, since it doesn't have your name on there, Malik. Malik, how are you today?
I am good. I have had a busy day at work, and of course, I work with 4-year-olds, and we had a busy day, and we was practicing for graduation. For Head Start graduation is May 14th, and we was been doing that pretty much all day. And then we went outside with the kids, and then we had to come back, get ready for lunch. No, we went to graduation practice. Then at the school, in one of the classrooms, went outside and came back for lunch. So we had a busy day. So we're gonna be
okay. Well, you know what?
We
When you said you work with 4-year-olds, I knew it was big.
And next week, Phoenix, Arizona.
Good for you. Good for you. Okay, so I'm gonna take what you said already. You said you work with 4-year-olds, so I know they're busy every day. So if you work with them, I know you're gonna have you have a busy day. I am well familiar. They are busy every day. Thank you. And what about you? Anything, Kate? You can even put it in the chat if you're not able to show yourself. How was your day today, and would your body agree with you? While I'm waiting, I'll go ahead and share. Mine was busy as well. Sometimes you can tell it's a good busy. Sometimes things are not a good busy. You just feel frazzled all over the place. Other times it's a productive busy. So I felt like it was a productive busy. My body did react in that it was a bit, I want to say stressed, maybe tensed. But good news is it's better now. It's better now. So it has come on down. And maybe coming on here today had something to do with that. I just feel better. Preparing for this, coming on, it's better now. So I'm grateful for that. Did you have anything, Kate, you want to put in the chat or you want to share? All right. Well, we're going to get going. Again, I'm grateful for you all for being here today. And as we get started, I wanted to go back to anything from yesterday. Let's look at your homework. Anybody do your homework? Don't worry, you don't get in trouble for not doing your homework. But your homework from your workbook, your first question for yesterday was think about, and we talked about it in class, but I didn't know if you spent other time and wrote in your book. And if you did, that's fine. That's what it's there for. But think about where you feel safe. Do you have a safe place? And then the last question was, would you like one? Okay, there's that. And then A, under number one, is what do your thoughts reveal about this need and how is it being met? When you actually stop and think about, there's something to that. What did you come up with and how is that need for safety being met? So that's for you and your thoughts, but not just your thoughts, because our thoughts turn into beliefs and actions and all of that. So make sure your thoughts are based on what's real and what's true, what's going on with you. And then the second question was, who do you have in your circle of support? And I know Malik, she's changed her name now, she shared about her mother and her sister, how they support her and she supports them. Those would be people in her circle of support. She knows they have her back and she has theirs. So that's your circle of support. And who constitutes your leaning post? Which is pretty much the same question, because there are some people that you just feel like, when I need somebody, that one I already know. I don't have to ask. Christina mentioned her son. There's something special about that one right there, because she just knows. You know what you know, and you feel what you feel, and it's good when you can identify that. And then the letter A under 2 is, are your needs for support being met? Because sometimes the people that we know and love, they may be unavailable. Sometimes they could be at a new juncture in life. I remember when I was growing up, one of my good friends, she had children early, and so I was feeling like she's not going to be able to be there for me because she's going to have to spend more time, which, of course, is how it's supposed to go. Anything else would have been wrong. However, when people start families, do things, move away, join the military, whoever, whatever, it doesn't have to be something bad, but they're not always available for us because they're living their lives, right? So it changes dynamics. Sometimes people are available, sometimes they're not. Their life just calls for something different. So when it comes to are your needs for support being met, it doesn't mean do you have people you love and trust and who love and trust you in return. But what about availability, at this juncture in your life? Because sometimes things change. There's times we were able to be there more for others than we were. I remember a particular time in college, I had planned to take a few people and we were going to go visit my aunt. It was in a nice part of the country where there are plenty of sites and we were going to go visit and we were excited. I was excited, but we didn't really have the money. Some fell through. We couldn't make it. She was disappointed. And I don't know if she held that against me, but I think she really wanted me to be a part of her life. But I was at a stage when I wasn't as available. So that would have been a nice way to come together, but I couldn't afford to. But I realized later when she kind of held her feelings a little bit, I was like, something to this. As you look back, you can tell, not always when you're in it, but I wasn't as available as I used to be in growing up because I was growing up, right? But it doesn't stop people from missing us. So there are times people that we love are not always there because they're not doing anything wrong. They're just not available. So that's why it's good when you have more than one. But anyway, are your needs for support being met? And then B, under number 2, homework for yesterday, is what do your answers reveal and what are you prepared to do about them? Sometimes we got to step out. And whenever we do, it's a risk. Everything is a risk. And we just have to determine if it's a risk worth taking. And the other part is, which really centers on us, can we handle the risk? Sometimes we're in a fragile state of life and we just can't. Other times, I feel good about me. I'm okay. I wanted to go this way, but if it doesn't, I'm gonna still be okay. Yeah, I could take the risk. So certain risks are able to be taken when we are in a healthy enough state and we're able to do so. So for yesterday, what was anything that you remember going into today? Because we talked about safety, we talked about the support and strength. There comes time, we know some things, but we may not have the strength to do those things. Where do you draw your strength from? So from yesterday, does anyone have something that stood out the most to you that you still remember, or that you're practicing, or that you're mulling over in your mind? Do any of you have anything that stands out before we move on to number three? I mean, to our third pillar. Anybody? And if not,
My strength is
go ahead.
to where I know if I have something to do, it it motivates me to continue to do my task or continue to do something that I have started. If I have to do my homework for school and my mind saying, go home, do whatever I have to do, for me and my son did. After that, sit down and do my homework. So that's more motivated me to do my homework for school so I can get a good grade.
Okay.
That's more of my motivation.
Okay, motivated. You're motivated to do what you need to do for you and your son. Did I get that right? Okay. All right.
Right.
Thank you. Okay. You know what you have to do, and you're motivated to do it to take care of you and your son. Got you. I'll say that too. In a lot of cases, and that's positive, there are times when our children definitely help motivate us to do things. Sometimes they help motivate us to want to keep on this journey because somebody's depending on you, someone who loves you and needs you. And so when we may not even have the strength of our own, knowing that person loves and needs us and we want to be there, it is definitely a factor that helps us do things that we wouldn't do otherwise. It's been said, well, I'm going to ask you, what do you think is the strongest force or energy force, how do you want to say, in the universe? What do you think it is? Or what's your perspective on that? What's the strongest force? Here it is. This is the answer I'm looking for. And what was shared with me, and I believe, love. There are some things you do for love you wouldn't do for anything or anyone else. I'm telling you, I mean, some people may say they do some silly things for it too. But that is such a strong force, love. And when it's genuine, when it's healthy, when it's without strings attached, when you receive that kind of love, that's life altering. And to give that kind of love is life altering. Um, I don't know, I didn't share yet, but I was trying to remember if I shared this story. I worked at a setting once. I was working with adults in an educational setting, and this young man who was in the class, really upstanding, just nice, decent guy. He had twins, young boys, just calm, even keel. That's just how you would know him. Everybody would just know him as even keel. And he shared something about his life and growing up. I didn't share this with you all, did I? I don't think so. Okay. How he used to be, which was totally opposite. Not in a good way, headed down a really destructive path due to a lot of anger and how it was being acted out. And he said, in the class, I mean, we didn't really just drop our mouths open, but we could have, because like, no, not you, we wouldn't expect, because the way he presented. But I remember asking, I said, well, what made the difference? What was the change? And he said there was this lady, an older lady, I think in his community, she wasn't even in his family, but she took him under her wings and she helped him get rid of that anger. And I was like, whoa, what did she do? We need to bottle it and sell it. And so I don't know if it was one particular thing over another, other than she loved that young man. He knew it. She supported him, and her guidance made a difference. And today, or that day, he was able to be even, hold a job, help a family, and raise them well because of that lady's impact and her support in his life. So when it comes to children and our children, no matter how old they get, they need that support too. So in your response, it just led me to that eventually, that does help us a lot of times in drawing strength because of the love we have for the other, our children, and what they have for us, or a child. It doesn't even have to be ours, but whoever we could be supporting, whoever loves and looks up to us. Because so many people have been loved on and raised by parents or family, loved ones that they don't have to share blood with, but they share love with, which I say is the strongest force. Okay, Christina or Kate, did either of you have um, anything to add to that part? And thank you for those who just have joined. And if this is your first day, go ahead and put where you're from. Glad to have you. Okay. Anything you have, either of you, Christina or Kate? If not, not put your spot. All righty. As we move on, and we talked about the strength, just in recapping, if you're following on your workbook, were you about to say anything? You want to catch up? Okay. If you're following on your workbook, the link was dropped. If you still need the link, put that in the chat. Let me know, because if it was dropped before you got in here, you won't be able to have it. So I want you to be able to have that to go along with us as we do the study, the lesson tonight. But as I finished number 2 for emotional strength, intentions are not enough. When it comes to establishing healthy habits and maintaining them, we need strength. And this strength is tied to our beliefs. What do we believe? And how are those beliefs serving us? Are we utilizing them? Are we digging deep? I had to dig deep today, you all. I don't mind telling it. I'm going to keep digging deep because when I need what I need, I got to go back and get some of it. I got to get some strength. And if I have a way to access it, you best believe I'm going to do that. Because what's the alternative? I don't want the alternative. I don't want to walk around weepy and willowy and sick and your body tense or reacting to things somewhat that are beyond your control. I do not have control of what I do not have control of. But I do have control of what I do and should have control of, and that's me. So dig deep, find your source, your well, and draw from it regularly. Okay, the workbook. Could I get that dropped in the link again? In the chat. Could I get that dropped into the chat? Let's see. I want to make sure you get that. Yep, there you go. Thank you. All righty. There you are, Shannon. And let me see, I don't see you, but those who, and good to see you back, Bookie. Glad to see you. Shannon, if you're not in a way where you can show yourself, we got you. But if you are able, we'd love to see you and you be a part of this community visually. I can feed off of your good energy and just your presence by being able to see you as well. So today we're moving to, as you can see, for day 2. We kind of ran ahead a little bit yesterday. We covered quite a bit already of day 2. So that's okay. It doesn't hurt to review. I want you to scroll back and just look at the leaning post. Because I didn't have that on my book yesterday. I had a different one, but I have it today. And as you can see, everybody able to look at the leaning post? Tell me one thing you remember about it for our first pillar of support. What do you remember about that leaning post? What is it? What's its purpose? Tell me what you remember about the leaning post if you were here yesterday. Because I hadn't paid attention to one before. I'm not on the boat like that. Go ahead, Christina.
It's what it's always is there to support us in times of turbulence or when there's chaos or different challenges that will shake us and not allow, we always need that leaning post. And usually in our community, we're talking about humans, people, different people around us.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Buki. And appreciate that. Good feedback and remembrance from what we talked about yesterday. Christina, you had unmuted. What were you going to say?
Oh, just basically the same thing that she was saying, that the captain uses it for support when they're on the boat.
Yeah. And everything is good. If the water is smooth, nothing going on, you're fine and good. However, when those waves come, there's a lot of wind, and If there has to be a quick turn, I don't know, could be some animal or another boat you're avoiding, who knows, whatever the circumstance can be. The point is you didn't plan for that. You didn't expect that, but you can still be affected by that. But a leaning post absorbs some of that. So that leaning post will keep you from being slung all around that boat because you have something to rev back on. You have the wheel in front of you and you have your post behind you. You're able to steer that boat. And similarly in our lives, we're able to steer differently when we have direction, when we're driven, we have our strength, and we have support behind us. There's like nothing you can't do. If you have support, healthy support, you got a sound or stable mind, clear thinking, and drive, the strength and drive to do something, come on. You can steer. You can steer and go where you need to go. So I like that picture. And as you look in the background, the water looks pretty calm at that stage. And that makes for a really nice picture. But if it were not calm and someone were there, the captain, the person driving would still have a space to be able to be backed up by and against. All righty. So we talked about a homework and do fill that in, you all. Not for me, you don't have to turn it in. But it was said in the beginning of the workbook that you could put it in the Facebook group. So you definitely can share your insights in the Facebook group if you've joined, which if you have not, please do. But for your benefit, think about things and write them down. So yesterday I had us to kind of breathe in and breathe out. I'm just going to take our time again today. Just be intentional about bringing calm in and letting frustration, stress, or worry out. Bring calm in and let the frustration, stress, and worry out. Because as you all know, I don't have to tell you, life is full of struggles, stress, and strain. But again, the parts we can't control are the parts we can't control. But what we can and should control is ourselves. So we just get to bring it down. And before I do the next part for today's study, I'm going to ask the same question I asked yesterday. And it's for your thought. And if you want to share, maybe you can too, if you can keep it brief. Did anything unusual happen today that I wasn't planning on, but it happened anyway? But the bigger question is, how did you handle it? And I know I said yesterday, it sure did, but I feel like I handled it well. That was good because could have been a time I could have handled it differently. And when you do handle it poorly, it bleeds over, like until later. The rest of the evening could be messed up. The rest of your day, night, then the next morning, you still like things linger when they're not addressed properly. Because we're not going to stay angry, we're not going to stay tense, but the emotions of how we reacted in that moment, sometimes those do linger. As a case in point for that, I worked with a lady who used to work in hospice, and she was saying that, yeah, when she worked with people sometimes that had Alzheimer's, they did not, of course, they don't remember certain things, but the emotion is still felt. So in one instance, someone had to decide whether to tell his mother that one of her relatives had passed. And it was recommended in that instance, no, don't even tell her, because what happens, she's going to get sad. She's going to have the physical reactions and emotions that go with having lost her loved one. She will forget what was told to her, but she will still have that mood. And so the point is, when we have to be careful with our emotions. So when we react in a certain way, even when we are not as angry or as excited over whatever the event was that caused us to respond that way, or that we allowed to cause to respond that way, the emotions can still linger. The effects on our body can still linger. And we just have to be careful for ourselves and be delicate with ourselves. The last pillar for day 3 that I want to mention is emotional sustainability. Any comments or anything before I go forward? Don't want to rush you. If you have something to contribute, I want to be able to hear you. All righty. Emotional sustainability. That happens when we are motivated to keep going despite our immediate circumstances. And I use this one because there are times, okay, so let's go. The first one is, okay, you need support. And then under support, you need emotional support. Safety is included in that, okay? We need safety, support, and we need that. We need that backing. We need that leaning post for the rough waters of life. Then we need strength. We need something to draw from when we just don't have it of ourselves. But we know we need to do something. We know what may be even the right thing to do. Sometimes it's just to keep going, but we don't even have strength. You have to have a way, a space, a well to draw from to get that strength. And once you have it, sometimes the not fun part is this one right here, sustainability. Sometimes you got to keep doing what you were doing. You're not seeing changes, but you got to keep doing what you're doing. Nothing exciting going on, but you got to keep doing what you're doing. And you want something different, but it's not there yet. You may have prayed for something different, hadn't been revealed yet. But what's your alternative? Are you going to stop? Are you going to go backwards? Or are you going to keep going? And the point of this pillar is there are times we got to keep going. And when you keep going, you are actually going through something, through to another side. So you don't stay there forever. We're not self-medicating and doing things to numb the pain and prevent us from going on, because that means you stay at point one. You've numbed out. You wake up from whatever sleep you've been in, let's just say that, and you're still at point one. You numb out again. Whatever you do, whatever the situation or the drug or the issue of choice is, but when that's done, you're still where you were. But if you go through it, you're actually getting through it. May not look like it. May take it. It often does take way longer than we want it to take, because we don't have the ability to alter time and the process. So it's a process, but in that process, we have to do things sometimes that we don't feel like doing, that are not exciting. But the point is, expect this stage. We're gonna have this stage when you get to keep going. And then I guess this kind of separates the girls from the women. You gotta keep going. And it won't be always, but it is right now. So during this right now time, I keep going, I get to look back on that and be grateful for that I came through that. But if I don't ever start it, if I keep just numbing out at the beginning, I keep staying there right at the beginning, and I don't get to get through, get to it, get through it, to get on the other side. So emotional sustainability, like when we have to sustain, be sustained, and maintain. You have to maintain. You just have to. That happens when we are motivated to keep going despite our immediate circumstances. Does anyone have a time you can think of, or a circumstance that you've dealt with, when I just had to keep going? I didn't want to, or it was difficult. I wasn't seeing any change. But through that period, I pictured like a desert time. I just had to keep going through the desert. The desert is hot. It's windy, and there's not a lot of foliage. You see a lot of trees, plants, flowers. You don't see a lot of water sources. It's a desert. Nobody wants to live there, but sometimes you have to get through there on your way to where you're going. Do you have an experience of such? And if so, sometimes when you have done that, when you look back, you're grateful. I'm grateful I got through that. And it might not even look so bad when you look back on it. And in the midst of it, it's horrid. Sometimes it is. But when you look, or some things still are bad when you look back, it's like, I don't ever want to go back there. That's true too. But there are some things that, depending on, we can put them in perspective, that, especially when you meet the reward. When you get to the other side and you get the benefits and the blessings of your sacrifices, or of continuing to go, it's like, yeah. It wasn't so bad when you compare it. Anybody have an example of something that you had to power through, shoulder through, and you did? It could be, it could have been a health challenge. Some people through school, some people through job training. And I'll say this: any job, anything new you go on, there's a learning curve. No matter how simple the job is, no matter how simple it is for somebody else, there's a learning curve for anybody who's new to it. Even if it's so much as, I don't know how you do it. I know how I used to do it at my other place, maybe, even if it's the same type of industry, but I don't know what the style is here, the culture is here, and how I'll be judged here. But there are times you got to keep going through the hard parts. And I know if you've lived, you've gone through some of that your own. And you either shoulder through or you stop. You give it up. So during this phase, as you think of your thoughts, I'll give you another chance in that moment if you want to share. We draw from our source of strength because this can be the hard phase, the boring phase. You're not starting anything new. You're not coming into your benefits or blessings. You're just in this desert part. So we need some strength because like I don't want to. I'm tired. I got to do this again today. I just don't want to. I promise I don't want to. But we have to, so if you're following along on your workbook, we draw from our source of strength. And I've capitalized source, however you need to interpret that for yourself. But what you use to gain what you need when you don't have it, that's your source of strength. This can be a difficult phase because we do not see change happening in this phase. We are holding onto what we believe is right and what we think will serve us and those we love in the long run. Sometimes it could just be what was shared earlier. I'm doing this, my children, my child, I need to do this. I need to take care and do what I need to do because of who I love, who loves me, and who's depending on me. So we're holding on to what we believe is right and what we think will serve us and those we love in the long run. Plenty times, that's what keeps people motivated. And the other part is mindful living. That's living in the now stage. That's helpful during this time because it can get real rough. So during this time, the present is all we have. Let me go on as you see. What can we do in the present moment that will help sustain us to the next? So mindfulness. Often when people struggle with this regularly, they say anxiety and depression. So what's said, what I've read, what I know in some instances is the depression part stems from worry about things that have happened, how they've impacted us, and it's often tied to the past, which we don't own anymore. We don't own it anyway, but we're not even in that. It's gone. That's what's called past. It's really gone. I don't have that anymore, but we're still affected by the past. I'm not downplaying it. It's just the truth anyhow. We're affected by what has already died and gone. That circumstance, that situation, that experience, but the impact still lives. So sometimes as people are stuck with the past, it can definitely bring depression, especially if those things in the past were bad. Now, the things that were good, if we dwelt on that, we change our lives. But we tend to remember and ruminate on and bring back up those other things. Those are things that kind of tear you down. And then the anxious part is we're worrying about what hadn't even happened. What if? What might? Well, this could. Whew, I'm tired already. Just from saying that, it'll wear you out. So the anxiety part is tied to future, what could, and worry about what might. And the depression is the past. When do we recognize right now? In this moment, do you have everything you need? I want you to think about that for a moment and put that in the chat. And we're going to elaborate on that. That's a yes or a no. In this moment right here, right now, and my time zone is 6:36. So right here at 6:36, do you have what you need? Just put in the chat. Okay, somebody else. Everybody. I have how many of you on here? Everybody put something in the chat. Do you have what you need? Yes, no, no maybes. But just in this moment, now 6:37, do you have what you need right now? Okay, she gave me a different answer. Not yet. She found a way. The wiggle room in there. Okay, Shannon is a yes.
Oh,
Just a yes or a no.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yep. Okay. Okay. Yep, no. Okay. You know what? Your answer is your truth to you in the moment. But I'm gonna drop something else on your head. And I'm just gonna see what you think about this one. In this moment, I'm able to breathe well. I am inside. I'm safe from whatever elements. If some dogs running around outside, nobody's bothering me, chasing me. Nobody's after me. I feel safe. I don't feel threatened in any way. I'm not hungry. I'm not even thirsty. Some of you might have seen me take a little sip earlier. I'm not thirsty. In this moment, right here, right now, I'm okay. I'm okay. I have what I need in this moment. Now, will I need something else later? Sure, absolutely. But right now, I have everything I need. Are you sitting down? Are you relaxed? You have air conditioning if it's warm wherever you live, or heat if it's cold. I don't know. Do you have that? So the most immediate needs are the most immediate ones that you need for survival right now. Do you have that? Even if, let's say, I need some money for a bill, let me just put that out there. You don't have to pay it this second, right? You're not going to pay it at 6:38, right? You can wait till the morning. I don't know, maybe not. But the point is, if right now, that's where we've got to kind of look at the power of right now that can impact our mental health, emotional well-being, holistically, all of us, all parts of us, because right now is right now. So can you feel your toes? You know, that's a mindful activity that sometimes you can wiggle them in your shoes. Do you feel your legs? Come on up, your waist, your heart still beating? Mine hadn't stopped in all my years. It keeps on doing it. Sometimes it speeds up, but it keeps on. It hadn't failed me. My lungs are able to still take in air. I'm able to go to the bathroom on my own. I don't have to have some other equipment. No one has to help me. In this moment, I got what I need. Because those most basic things, if we didn't have them, we would really desperately want them. We would need them, or we would feel so, but we're able to do what we do. And in this moment, there's a lot. And I remember as a child, I used to be so frustrating to me whenever I would get a cold or get sick and have a stuffy nose. I couldn't stand for like one nostril to be clogged up. I was like, man. It's just hard. You just gotta suffer through it, or sometimes you gotta wait. Even the medicine, you have to wait for it to kick in. But I'm able to breathe well through both nostrils, and it's just something to consider. So my point with mindful living, think about your physical surroundings, your person, your body, and what you're grateful for. What you're grateful for. So I want everybody to stop that for a second. Pause. Like, stop what you're doing. Everyone give something that you're grateful for right now in this moment. Just think about it for a moment. You can put it in the chat, or you can share it aloud. But if you share it aloud, just make sure you just share that thing. Don't elaborate too much, not at this juncture, because we have some more. There's something else to share. What are you thankful for in this moment or today? Just whatever. What are you thankful for? Now, let's see here. What happened to my screen? Okay. I can call on you, or you can volunteer. Let's say volunteer or voluntold. Who'd like to be first? You can raise your hand, your digital hand, or the other one. I'm scrolling to make sure I can see you. Who is first? Tell me one thing. Oh, today was a beautiful day. It's beautiful over here too, Shannon. Where are you? What part of the world or the country are you? I'm looking at her chat. Let's see. Where are you? Oh, I grew up in North Carolina, in Durham. Okay. I'm gonna have to have another conversation with you. What part of North Carolina? But we'll move on. It was beautiful here too. I just appreciate that. It's beautiful. Buki, Christina, no major issues in the classroom today. I've been in the classroom, and that's beautiful. That's a big, beautiful thing. No major issues in the classroom today. And what used to be interesting to me, the days that were rough, that made me think, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. The next day was better. And I just feel like somebody knew I couldn't take a couple of these in a row. I needed a break. So when something is smooth and no major issues, that's a whoop whoop. Happy for you. Buki, I'm grateful for the weather. Not too cold and not too hot. Beautiful. It's nothing like peaceful, smooth, serene, perfection. Not too hot, not too cold. Just can appreciate the temperature. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else? Who else didn't get to respond? One thing. I don't know if you can type in yours since you're on the phone.
that I am grateful that I have health and strength, and was a beautiful, gorgeous day today.
It was. It was. Health and strength. That's not small, y'all. Have you ever been sick? Have you ever had the flu? Or even worse, at least with that, you're hoping to get better soon, but not everybody does. Not everybody wakes up from that one. But I'm just saying, to feel good, that's a good feeling because it feels real bad to feel bad. It just affects your mind, your mood, your mission. You can't do things. If you're sick, you're laid up. It's all of that. Your mind, your mood, your mission, all of it. So to have your health and strength, that is huge. And Kate, anything you want to put in here about how you feel, what you are grateful for today? As I think about mine, I told y'all earlier, so I said again, I'm grateful for this evening. My body was responding to some experiences I was functioning, but I wasn't at my peak. And I knew that. And you're not always going to be there. You just have to process it, dig deep in your well for strength, do what you do. And I was doing those things. And coming up to this evening, I feel good. I'm at peace. I feel good. And what I did yesterday, and I'm planning to do the same thing today. After I finish, I'm going walking. I'm going to breathe in some more fresh, good air, get my exercise, take care of my body. When I'm in a good mind to do that, I need to capitalize on it. Try to establish that habit because it doesn't. It's not always there. Say that, but I want to establish good habits, and so now that I'm in the mode to do that, I want to stick with it. I want to stick with it. Especially, I have no excuse for the weather. When it gets cold, I do my own. Yeah, I don't know about. And if it's raining, but I don't have any of that today, and I always feel better when I come back. So I'm grateful that I feel better. Let's say that than I did earlier. I'm grateful for that. There's always something that we can find, even if it's that we're drawing breath on our own. We're not on any machine. You know, we're doing that. Our lungs are still working. Our kidneys are still functioning and filtering out what needs to be filtered. And we can take ourselves to the bathroom on our own. We can feed ourselves. No one is trying to feed us. Like, you can always just bring it back. What is it right now that if I didn't have it, I'd miss? I also appreciate, I'll say this, I appreciate my eyesight. I like being able to see. It's real nice. I like being able to hear, not to be taken for granted. And I appreciate the smeller right here because if something is burning or something is off, is that? Like, I appreciate that because it can save you. It can help a lot. Let me see. I got my sight, my hearing, my smell, tasting. I enjoy. Who doesn't enjoy good food? We love good food, right? I appreciate being able to taste and enjoy my food, and I appreciate my sense of touch. You know, my skin, that's my biggest organ. I appreciate it. It holds everything in, and that I can touch and feel. I appreciate that. So there's a lot, and I'm grateful for it. And I appreciate the exercise of you sharing what you're grateful for too. It does something to us when we focus on those things as opposed to the things that could drag us down. So mindful living, think about it. Think about right now. Just start with your feet and go up to the crown of your head. Be happy even if it's not itching or something. It's not, you don't have any breakouts. Like, there's always something. It could be different, but I'm thankful it is as well as it is, which is really good. And in the midst of that, that will help us during the period of sustainability, when we have to be sustained during hard times. We can focus on those times that nothing seems to be getting better, nothing seems to be changing, but we can always focus on what we do have right here, right now, that people can't take away. Circumstances don't take that away. We have that right now. We can be grateful for it. We can rehearse that. We can acknowledge it. Sometimes write it down. Some people have a gratitude journal. Some people may have a friend or someone that they connect with periodically and just like, how was it today? What's good? What's good? Because you already know what's not. Sometimes you can share what's good if you all are close like that. And then, let's see, the present is what we have. What can we do in the present moment that will help sustain us? And one of that is, as we talked about, is gratitude and having a place to share it. Sitting with it is good, but having a place to share it, having a community, having someone, and even some place to write it, because some of us are more private creatures and we enjoy our calm time for certain things, and we just writing it will suffice the need. And then you go back and review it. Now I've done it, and then I start. And it's not everybody's bag. Let's say it that way. It's not everybody's thing. Some people are not writers. They rather do it another way. Others are. Some people use sticky notes, and they might put whatever your way is. It's not one size fits all. The activity of gratitude fits all, but how that's shown and shared out in your life, that's independent. That's based on you. Let me look at the homework for today that I want you to spend some time with as I get ready to go to the next step. And really do use your workbooks, you all. Yeah, and you might be already, but I'm just saying, for your benefit, what is your body revealing to you about your emotional health? Because as we touched on yesterday and I'll share today, it does respond. We talked sometime, you might have a fog, might be not be able to complete tasks. You know, you're just kind of like withdrawn. Sometimes you have physical symptoms. We're sweaty. We are heart racing. Sometimes you have stomach knots, gain weight, lose weight, can't eat, can't sleep, racing thoughts. Woo, what? And more. But like I said, the body's not going to lie. It's going to tell you what you really feel. You may not say it out of your mouth, but your body knows. So the point is, we got to acknowledge it so we can do something about it. Some people are afraid of emotions. A lot of times people are, but they're not wrong. They're an indicator of what's going on. And if we listen to that, then we can determine what I want to do about it. What can I do about it? So what is your body revealing to you about your emotional health? Number two, how are your beliefs serving you? Are they serving you? And where are you drawing your strength from? Because for you to have strength, it's got to be something that you believe in, something that helps you on those rough days, something that has helped you to want to be here and be glad that you are still here. What is it? Spend some time and leverage that. I mean, draw from it, because the world can be hard if you don't, and that's an understatement. But we can endure those waters, we can endure those waves when we're drawing from our strength source, when we have our leaning post. Use that as a visual. Look back at your leaning post. It's behind you. You got some strength behind you, and that post is not moving. It's bolted down into the floor of the boat. It's not moving. Winds are not going to move that. The winds may move the boat a bit, but it's not moving that leaning post. It can't do it. So you have that, you need that, and that comes from your support. So what are your beliefs? How are they serving you? And where are you drawing strength from? As you pause and consider those things, spend some time with the answers. Actually take the effort to write them in your workbook. And then I'm going to shift. Okay, shift. So in the space of having the support and the safety that you need, there is a way through our community, no surprise, emotional recovery after 40, through this navigating life change, that I am positioned to be one of those supports for you if you should so need. And in doing, part of how that would be shared out, it could be through a 6 week individual one-on-one, or 90-day, which is 3 months. So with the 6 weeks, you would have time, and it would be it's at a faster pace than the 3 months. But if you need a fast track, that's what that is. If you have time and you just want to absorb, take your time and integrate things and not be rushed, that would be the other one. But it's an opportunity to individually map out what goals you have for gaining the strength that you need for this particular journey that you're on. Everyone's is uniquely different. Sometimes there are groups for this, okay? And that could be an offering at some point too. But right now, the one-on-one is for you. And there are times you need a partner or partnership for particular situations that you're going through. It doesn't always mean you need a counselor. Now, when you do, go get you one. Do that, because this is not clinical. This is based on support. It's just based on life support, and it's tried and proven, it's true, and it's ongoing. The counselor is not going to likely talk to you every day, or you have access to every day. I don't know, maybe so. But we do, through this, you'll have access through our weekly calls with the 6-week program, and we'll use an app that if we want to have an audio message in between, we can do that in between sessions as needed, and through email. So you will have access, you have one-on-one. But the point is, the purpose, to have the goals that are important to you, for you to climb out of, soar beyond whatever your particular situation that is holding you back, that is a strain. There's that. But with the 90-day, the 3-month program, that is, we would meet twice a month, and you'd be able to integrate, take your time, and then you come out of that. And the price for all of that would be $9.97 for either one-on-one. But if Malik, if you put yourself on mute, let me see. I'll do it. I want to see. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. You can. Yeah. Okay. That's $9.97 for the program, or if you do it in installments, it will be 3 installments of $3.99. So I'm just putting that there. You can be aware of it. You can think on it. But there is a space to help you implement what you are hearing, and not necessarily have to be learning, because you could already know it. There's a place to practice it. And if it is some new, then you're learning it as well. But there's a space, and that is my offering, and that would be working with me. Okay, there's that. Any questions on any of that? Okay. And the meetings would be through Zoom. So we would, do Zoom and meet individually one-on-one. All right. As I go back, we have covered 3 pillars, and we have 2 more that we will cover more in depth tomorrow. Okay, that'll be our final night. And with what we've gone over and the amount that has been shared in these 3, by tomorrow, those 3 nights, you would go in deeper and individually for your particular situation in a one-on-one session. Okay, because here's my saying, and it has really stuck. It sticks for me, and maybe some others as well. But it's okay not to be okay. Anything else I'm going to say is not real, because humans get to experience the gamut of human emotions and experiences, because it's not just one. It's not always happy, happy, joy, joy. There are things that happen that impact us, and it affects our moods, our emotions. That's fine. So it's okay not to be okay, just not to stay that way. And some of us have stayed that way too long, almost where it's like, this is it. This is how it's going to be. This is how it is. You live and then you die. And I say no, and not just no. That's not what I choose. Now, there are things I can't control, but there's so much that I can. There are things I can plan for, prepare for, and equip myself for. And sometimes what we need is partnership in doing that. Because just like anything else, there are times we need someone beyond ourselves. That's why you go to the doctor. You might know that something is wrong, but you might not quite know what to do with it, or what it's actually called, what's happening in your body. There are reasons we go to a mechanic. You might know a little bit about your car, maybe a lot, but sometimes you got to take it to a dealership. Sometimes you got to take it somewhere else. Some people can do their own hair. Some of them like, hurry up and get me a beautician. Or whatever the case may be. There are times we need something and someone beyond ourselves. Recognizing that is important. But what is even more beneficial is when you actually do something about it. And even if it's not me, you will always have to be on the process of caring for yourself. That's everybody. We always have to find a way to do that and invest in our health and well-being, because life will happen and it will zap you. It'll zap us. But we have to find ways, and we got to fight through it. Fight through the pain, fight through that sustainability period where we're just being sustained, just maintaining, but nothing seems to be getting better. Fight through it, because the alternative is what? You want to give up? You want to go backwards? Even if the answer is yes, let's just not do that. because we've come too far. And we want to make the lessons count that we've learned. The wisdom that is gained should not be wasted. You are who you are and where you are today because of everything that happened to you, everything you experienced. You have some knowledge beyond the textbook, beyond going to school, beyond a PhD, because you know what you know, because you know what you know. And no one can take from you what you know. And those lessons have been hard learned, but they can count for something. I don't want to get into what tomorrow is, but they definitely can count for something. We don't just suffer and that's the end. The things that we've experienced, learned from, grown from, we can capitalize on that at some point. So what has cost us, there's reward for that if we can find a way to get there. And there are ways. There are ways. And you determine your success, not anyone else. We're going to touch on success tomorrow, emotional success, but you do determine it. Other people can't tell you what's successful for you because they don't know what you really want deep down inside. They don't know your real needs. Most people think it has to do with just success, money and fame. Well, that is, if that's what people want, but not everybody wants that. I don't know. I don't need everybody in my life and follow me. And yeah, it's a lot. Some people love it, but that's not success for everybody. You get to determine that. And so stay the course. We have another night. Need you to be here for all of them. Complete the process and do your homework and any insights or ahas. I'm not only sharing the homework, share in the Facebook group if you're there, but bring back tomorrow. Okay, add to the space. Share what you, you know what? Yeah, so apply what you've gained, what you've been exposed to tonight through your day, the rest of your evening and through your day tomorrow. And come on back, same time, same place. Okay, any questions, comments before we go? Because I respect your time. Appreciate this hour you've given me out of your day. Let me scroll through and see it. Okay, anybody? Any digital hands or comment? On that note, thank you again. Look to see you tomorrow. All right. Class dismissed.